So today we are in Barcelona with BØRNS, better known as BØRNS, the one who made us fall in love with 10,000 Emerald Pools. How are you doing?
I'm muy bueno. Doing great. Feels good to be in Barcelona. My first time in Spain. The sun is out, which is something that we haven't had the the pleasure of being around for most of this tour. So it's nice to have sunshine in the ocean. And yeah, it's great.
And just for all the people who still doesn't know you, how would you introduce yourself? Like describing your music and personally?
My music, it's sort of a glam rock, sort of scatterbrain mix of like 60s and 70s influences, but also like 90s pop, but contemporary production, something like that.
This is your first time in Spain performing also.
Mm-hmm.
Are you excited to perform some music for the Spanish fans?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm very excited.
And how does it feel to be traveling all over the world with an artist like Halsey?
It's pretty wild to see Halsey's fan base on her like first world tour, you know, because just they're lined up for hours, you know. So it's pretty incredible, and she's a very amazing performer, singer. Her whole show and production is on point. So it's a pleasure. Yeah.
And going back in time, let's talk about how you began in this. When did you feel you wanted to be like a singer?
I don't know. I feel like I was pretty young. I think I always wanted to be a drummer, actually. So I studied drums for a long time. And rhythm is really important in like my songwriting. So I think I'm innately kind of a drummer, but singing is something that just sort of happened. I don't know. It's kind of been a progression. So yeah.
And do you remember the first time you stepped up on stage?
Yeah, I used to do like karaoke in high school, but it was nothing. It wasn't too serious.
And you're just in your 20s, but your fame is growing fast. But if you look back when you started in this high school karaoke's and that, how crazy is for you to be traveling all over the world and playing in big festivals? Like, what sensation runs through your body?
I guess just trying to put on the best performance I can. In the moment, it doesn't really feel any different than, just being anywhere. Like, in the moment, it just feels like I just need to put on a good show. But looking back in retrospect, I'm like, wow, that was, a crazy experience. But, yeah, it's hard to explain. It's like, it seems so normal in the moment,
But later.
but looking back, it's like weird, you know.
And talking about your debut, I read you wrote a lot of music in a house tree.
A treehouse? No, I didn't write all of it in a treehouse. I was living in sort of a guest house that was among the trees, but it wasn't where the whole album was composed. So. Yeah.
And Dopamine is the name of your first album, but what do you want to transmit with that title?
I mean, it's a love song album, but it's not necessarily about adorning love. It's kind of about the lack of love or the lack of something that gives you that feeling of a dopamine rush, you know, something that you're addicted to, whether it's a cigarette or chocolate or a girl
And the
Yeah.
songs that you have released in the album and before in your EP are really romantic and also love inspired. But do you think that love is one of the strongest feelings and emotions for songwriting?
Yeah, I think it seems to be a pretty popular subject among pop music. Um, yeah, it's just, it's kind of like with the go-to subject matter, I feel like, when you're writing a song. Yeah.
And how would you say your music and even songwriting style has evolved between your EP Candy and this debut album?
Um, the EP was sort of a beginning experiment on the project known as BØRNS. It was sort of a studio project at that point. I hadn't played any live shows. And then the LP was once I started touring a lot. So it was more influenced by what I wanted to be performing. So, yeah.
And how was the process of creating Dopamine? Because I read that you had a crazy deadline. Was that giving you even more pressure?
Yeah, it was pressure, but it was probably good pressure because otherwise I'll take way too long to finish something, or just not finish it. But if there's a deadline involved, then you can't really overthink too much. So it's good. That's a fire under you. So.
And in your EP, you work with English, and now you work again with him. But do you feel like you have found the perfect partner to create your music?
Yeah. Tommy's an incredible producer and really great songwriter. And we're good chums, so it doesn't feel like work. It just feels like hanging.
And as we listen to your songs, we perceive like many poetry in your lyrics. And is that an inspiration for you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's poetry in just like a title or like an advertisement. Just the way words are fit together. I find it really fascinating. Yeah.
And are you more of those who have the music first and then the letters, or the other way around?
I like how you asked that. I feel like I kind of have the words sort of floating about. I make a lot of lists of titles and stuff. And then once the music happens, then I try to figure out where those words fit in to the music. Sort of just like puzzle pieces. So, yeah.
And maybe this can be a hard question, but from all the songs of the album, which is the most special for you?
Probably Overnight Sensation, maybe. That song was like one of the last songs we recorded for the album, and and it was inspired by an article in an old gentleman's magazine known as Playboy, and in the article it said Overnight Sensation, so the picture of this woman just inspired the song. So, yeah.
And now we are talking about your music and this first album. Which artists inspire you to write and to create your melodies?
Which artist? A lot of them do. Michael Jackson, Serge Gainsbourg, the Bee Gees, Beach Boys. I think those are those seem pretty solid.
And now you're here in Spain and touring with Halsey. Which plans do you have for the next few months?
Finishing up, we're playing Barcelona, we're playing Paris, and then going back to the States, and starting tour there. So doing festivals, that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
And as any artist, all of you would like to collaborate with another artist you admire, but which is your dream collab?
Dream collab. Quincy Jones. I don't know. FKA Twigs.
That's great.
Yeah.
And now there are many songs in the market, but for you, which is the song of the moment?
The song of the moment for me.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of FKA Twigs, Good to Love is an incredible record. She just put that out. She's just an amazing live performer. Kind of all around performance art. You know, pretty inspiring. So yeah.
And of all the songs of music history, which one wish you had written or sing originally?
Of all the songs ever written,
Ever.
I'm jealous of a lot of songs. But if I had to pick one, maybe One is the Loneliest Number. It's called One, originally by Harry Nilsson, but made popular by Three Dog Night. But it's such a simple song, you know. One is the loneliest number that you'll ever do. It's just a great line.
And to be finishing the interview, from the day you started in this musical world, which is the biggest challenge you ever faced?
Biggest challenge I've ever faced? Getting enough sleep every night. Tell me about it,
That's
right?
hard.
Nap time.
Yeah. That's really difficult.
You know, gotta find creative ways to get your cat naps. So that's a challenge, I feel.
And the last question, now you're here in Spain, having your debut album out there and opening for Halsey. Which is your next big dream or challenge you want to accomplish?
Learn Spanish, be able to order food in Spanish, or just, carry a conversation, not even just order food. Because that you can kind of cheat.
Yeah.
You only have to say, the thing on the menu. Yeah. But I would like to learn a language, different language would be nice. Move to Barcelona, write an entire album here, buy a yacht, and then just sail away for the rest of my life. Can you keep the nose blowing down?
So it's been a pleasure being with you and good
Yeah,
luck
you
for
too.
tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.